Alright guys, if you're watching this video, you are taking Convention and Sales Services here for the fall semester. Introduce myself, my name is Professor J.J. DeBras. I am currently working with General Hotel Corporations. I am one of our regional directors of sales. Have been in the hospitality industry for a little over 10 years now, and have taught this class. I believe this is my third or fourth semester teaching this class. So very honored to get to teach this class. I've learned a ton in my 10 plus years in the industry. Hoping to share a little bit of that with you. A little bit of my background. 44 years old, married for 20 years this weekend. I have 3 children. My oldest is Kat. She is our angel baby. And I'll explain that story as the year goes along. But I also have a son, Wilson, and a son, Riley. And you, every now and then, will hear stories about those guys as we do our lectures. So, live up in the Zionsville area. Am a proud Butler alum, and by no means do I mean to cause any rift with my IUPUI classes. I have a very, very healthy respect for IUPUI, and I have thoroughly enjoyed teaching the students there. So, but you guys will hear me refer to different things in my past. Butler University is one of the big ones. Spent 10 years in the sports marketing, sports ticket sales world. Was at Purdue for a little bit, so there's my tie back to IUPUI. Also spent some time with the Pacers. So besides that 10 years in the hospitality industry, I've also had about 10 years in sports marketing, sports event management. So occasionally I'll touch on both. Sometimes the paths do overcross. If you're more interested in the sports marketing or the sports management of events, please look up for my class in the summertime. It's fantastic. It's a great book. Highly encourage anybody who's interested in that field to go that route. Real quick, introduction, there it is for me. I want you guys to know that you can always reach out to me anytime. You guys have my email address. You have my cell phone number. You can text me. You can call me. You can send me emails. I don't have a problem with it. I am typically sometimes on the road, sometimes at home. So if I don't respond to you right away, please understand it may just be that I can't get to you to give you the kind of response I want to send to you. So be patient with me. Other things in this class, again, love to hear discussions, love to hear questions. If there's something you don't understand, please reach out to me. We cover a lot of information in a very, very short period of time. So again, if there's something you're not understanding, something you're not grasping, by all means, pick up the phone, shoot me an email, and like I said, we'll get you guys going on the right page. Other thing I want to talk about is this book is new. It's the second time we've used this in a couple years I've taught this class. I had the privilege of actually getting to talk to the author. He took a lot of, I'll say he went to great pains to make sure that the book was more up to date. Our old book kind of lacked a lot of the technology that is going on right now in the hospitality industry. And so I highly recommend. You'll see the blue boxes in the chapter where it says more online, or see this video, or find out more about this particular brand. Take the time to look those videos up. He did a very, very nice job of kind of laying out how technology is very much interwoven into our industry. And by all means, these extra little tidbits that he drops to you guys, I think is going to be vital if you hope to have great success, whether it's on the hospitality side, whether it's in the convention sales side, what have you. So again, take advantage of those things that he leaves you. So that's kind of me in a nutshell. This is how you guys are going to see me. You're right now looking at the back of, this is my office. So I'll be doing a quick lecture for every week. I'm trying to keep them between 15 and 20 minutes, even when we cover 2 or 3 chapters, just hitting the highlights, just hitting the major points. You guys will understand if you've gone onto Canvas. You can see under Files, I have all the outlines for all the chapters in there. They're PowerPoints that the book actually puts out. They're wonderful. They are incredibly important to use as you're reading through the chapters. Should help explain some things. They're great study guides for the exams and tests. I think they also will help you in the discussions and the other assignments you guys have. So, so again, looking at chapter 1, this is a great overview of what we see in our industry. So it's going to talk about the convention industry. It's going to talk about hospitality. It's going to talk about meeting industry. All 3 of those kind of lump in together. And the biggest thing you guys need to understand is that, this is a multi-billion-dollar industry. The last report we had, it's about a $263 billion annual industry. So there are a lot of opportunities in there, whether it's in sales, whether it's in service, whether it's any of the ancillary groups that feed off that industry. And that's a real neat thing in the book, and I highly recommend you guys looking at this. He does a summary of economic impacts, and basically it kind of shows how here's the money that comes in, here's the jobs that it fills, and here's the multiplier effect is what he calls it. So in the end, basically what our author talks about is that this is actually closer to a $907 billion economic impact, and that it actually feeds probably about 6.3 million jobs. So again, it's an unbelievable industry you guys are looking at studying. I've spent, like I said, my 10 years has been wonderful. A lot of changes in those 10 years, a lot of good changes, a lot of things that, they kind of ebbs and flows, so we take the good with the bad. But the biggest thing probably is going to be the technology, and like I said, he's going to touch on this throughout the book. A few things to understand about the meeting side of things, the meeting industry. So, it used to be all men. Now we're seeing almost a total reversal where there are definitely more female business travelers than ever before. They can be single, they can be married. Most of them are younger, most of them are fluent. The really unique thing that we're seeing now too is that where in the past the meetings that had an element of entertainment to it, where families may have been brought or spouses may have been brought, it typically were the wives that were brought along. Well, now what we're actually seeing is there are just as many husbands that are following their wives to the meetings than there are wives. I'm sorry, I got that backward. I got that all kind of turned around. There are just as many husbands as there were wives in the past. So now, as we start to plan activities, it's very stereotypical, but it used to be you're taking the wives on the shopping trip while the men have their meeting. Again, we're far, far away from those days. Now our entertainment could be anything from shows to golf, multi-gender activities. It could be family-oriented. It could still involve shopping. It could be a number of different things. So anymore, what we have to remember now is that we have definitely blurred the lines of who our attendees are. And again, just as many women as there are men. So keep that in mind as we're going through here. I want to talk just real briefly, when we say the word meetings. Meetings is a catch-all, obviously. There are many, many types of meetings, and just a few, and again, our author does a great job of kind of giving you a definition of what these meetings are. You're going to hear the word convention, okay, and that's usually a larger meeting with delegates, and a lot of times it's connected with associations. It may have an exhibit, an exhibit center, if you will. So again, the convention is one side. Conference is used for everything and anything. Again, usually it's kind of a synonym for conventions. A lot of times you'll see them in the technology field, the scientific field. I find them a lot of times in the business field, where we're talking about best practices. So it could be that they're training sessions, it could be a sharing of ideas, but conferences gets used almost universally as conventions. You'll hear Congress, a lot of times that's a term more, I think, used with our European partners, very similar to a conference. A forum, more of a back and forth discussion kind of thing. You may have a panel, if you will. Symposium, very similar to a forum, probably more formal, less give and take, and more give, if you will. You'll hear lecture, again, even more formal of a structure involving a presentation. A lot of times lectures are given by an expert in their field. Seminars, again, more give and take in the idea that we have one topic that we're trying to learn about. Workshops, again, you're looking at more small groups. Could be hands-on if it's more of an industry where we use our hands. Best practices, small problems, assignments, but we're working together to kind of come up with some solutions. And then clinic involves a lot of drills and instructions in specific subjects. So I always think of the word clinical usually falls into the medical field. I hear that a clinic or clinical more often than not. You're also going to hear retreat. Retreat is more of your getaways. I actually was on one just last week for our company. A chance for us to bond as an executive staff. A chance for us we had a lecture on leadership. Again, chance to kind of formulate some ideas. You're talking about all the directors, executive vice presidents for the different departments that we have. A chance for us to realize, how can we motivate those who are underneath us? How can we continue to take the company in the right direction? So retreat, we usually have those aspects. And a lot of times there's also some entertainment. We were in Chicago. We did the Great Race. We had to go all over Chicago and find clues and that kind of fun stuff. Had a night out on a boat where we got to socialize with our coworkers. So it can be a bonding experience as well as how are we taking the company to the next level, if you will. So, a few other ones. A panel, again, very much like a forum in the sense of we're having a discussion. We have a panel here. They're going to answer questions. They're going to give their expertise, if you will, and there should be a back and forth. And then the other thing that you're going to see a lot of times, especially with conventions and larger conferences, are exhibitions and trade shows. And we're going to talk a great deal about that and how they fit into the meeting industry. They're almost an entire animal unto themselves. So we'll go into greater detail on that as the year goes. As the 8 weeks go along. So one of the things we're going to talk, just so you guys know, because we're going to throw these terms around a lot, who holds meetings? Now, in the hotel industry, a lot of times your sales teams, which I am recently removed from, so the position I have right now, I've actually had for 7 weeks. I spent 10 and a half years at the Crown Plaza downtown in a sales role. So in our sales teams, typically in our industry, we break it down by market. So you're going to have corporations, which is what you would think. Any kind of corporate business flows to that one sales manager. You have associations. Any job you can think of, any industry you can think of has at least one, if not multiple associations. They're professional, they're trade, they can be scientific, they're technical societies, but it's everybody coming together to talk about their particular industry, if you will. And they're massive in a lot of cases. The one I always say is, think of, again, the National Rifle Association, the NRA, is indeed an association. You look at the NCAA, National Collegiate Conference Association. So again, and you can go all the way down to nurses, doctors, their sales. MPI is the Meeting Professionals International, basically association. So again, there's an association for everything, and they are massive and they are incredible when it comes to how we deal with them in our industry. And again, like I said, we're going to go into great detail about all of these. You have nonprofit organizations, government agencies, labor unions, and then what we call SMERF. And for those of you who are new to the industry, SMERF is not a little blue character that you saw back in the 1980s and 90s on television. SMERF is an acronym. It stands for Social, Military, Education, Religious, and Fraternal. And social a lot of times will include athletics as well. So those are the ones we're going to talk probably the greatest amount of time on and show you how each one has a different niche and has a different need when it comes to the convention and meeting side of things. So as we kind of go through the first chapter, like I said, I want to keep this short. I want to make sure, again, this is supposed to be a quick synopsis. The kind of hotels we're going to talk about, everything from your boutique hotels to your conference center hotels, your big boxes, your more transient type, your business traveler hotels. We're going to touch on all of them, and all of them have a different niche to the industry. Obviously, what comes to a hotel like the JW or the Crown Plaza downtown, where they've got over 50,000 square feet of meeting space, is going to be vastly different than what goes to the Spring Hill Suites downtown. Okay, they're going to have two different types of clientele, two different types of meetings, and what each one can handle is different and yet necessary to our industry. So we're going to talk in great deals about that. Different trends that are going on. One of the trends you're going to see, and I cannot touch on this enough, is technology has really hit our industry, and it is absolutely amazing now what you can do with technology. And you guys probably know it much better than I do. I know most of you are probably young enough to be my kids, and I don't even feel that old, but watching the different things come online, from apps to the use of cell phones. And I'll give you one great example, and it's one of my favorites, and it's already been 7 years since I saw this video, so I know it's no longer beta testing. Most hotels, I think, can actually do this. You could actually check into a hotel. You checked in online. You got there. You went to almost like a cubicle. You basically said, "Yes, I'm here." You made your form of payment. Your room number was given to your phone, and you actually went to the room and held your phone up to the door, and that was your key. Open the door. You obviously stay the night. You pay your bill online, and you leave, and you never had to talk to the front desk. Absolutely phenomenal for those business travelers who want to get in, get out, and do their business. Not for everybody. A lot of people like to be pampered a little bit. They want to have, the interaction with the front desk. They may have some different needs. But again, for those really well-seasoned travelers, it was a very, very easy way to get in and out of a hotel without having to, what they may consider, waste time with front desk and the pleasantries. So again, we're going to see wellness movements. We're going to talk about this, green meetings, and the social responsibility we have. This chapter does a great job of also touching on third-party planners. And again, we're going to look at both sides of things, from the sales side as well as to who we're selling to. Third-party planners are such a major, major part of our industry. Some names I'm going to throw out to you guys that hopefully will come up later on, especially as you go and hit the blue boxes in your chapter. Helms Briscoe, Conference Direct. These are two of the bigger third parties where They are basically independent contractors that do nothing but plan meetings and events for different corporations, associations, and again, on our Smurf market. So we're going to see a lot of that in this chapter. Um, and then basically, like I said, we touched a little bit on that green meeting, some of the trends that are going from the wellness side, to everything from what is our carbon footprint, how can we make sure we're following recycling, um, where does waste go? And I mean waste. And it's funny. You can talk about food waste. Are we using it to feed the hungry, feed the poor? Can it be sent there? What about waste from a trade show? All those things that people don't want to take home. What happens to them? We've had groups that we've collected them and we've taken them to a program that collected school supplies and gave them to needy children. Notebooks, pens, pencils. It's amazing, this industry, on how much we touch, how much we reach out to people. But this first chapter is a great one. It's a great overview. It lets you kind of see what we're talking about, what we're all about. When we get into chapters 2 and beyond, we're going to get more into the nitty gritty, more of the details. So there you are, first chapter, under 15 minutes hopefully. Quick synopsis on who I am. Again, guys, please, by all means, reach out to me if you have questions, if you have needs, anything going on out there you don't understand. Don't hesitate to reach out to me. Again, I've thoroughly enjoyed my 10 and a half plus years in this industry. I'm hoping it's something that you guys will enjoy. Obviously, you're spending the time and the money to take this class. And I said, hopefully we're going to have a really, really good 8 weeks. So, again, until we talk again next week, like I said, if you need anything, just give me a call, shoot me an email.